This is one part of a two-part video on the existence of the soul. At the end of this video, make sure to check out the other bit. In the 17th century, the philosopher René Descartes posited a distinct difference between our physical bodies on the one side and our minds/spirit on the other. Mind-body dualism. But the notion of a soul or spirit that inhabits our bodies and lives on after we die is nothing new, and is possibly as old as religion itself. Before the advent of neuroscience, various functions that we now know are performed by the brain were attributed to the soul. The soul. Just one. One soul for one person. Simple. Easy. But problematic. Krista and Tatiana Hogan are conjoined twins, joined at the head. Their brains are joined by a thalamic bridge, allowing them to control each other's limbs.
What you doing, Krista?
Making her move.
Feel each other's sensations.
I'm gonna touch somewhere on Sissy. You gotta tell me where it is, okay? Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
And see out of each other's eyes.
Taddy, can you tell me what color this is?
Pink.
I have nothing but respect for these adorable children, but cases like this underline the absurdity of the notion of the soul. What if one believes in Allah and the other in Yahweh? Where do they go when they die? And who gets what parts of their shared mind? Are the parts they share copied and pasted to their respective souls in heaven and hell? Now imagine two grown men, Hank and Harry, have the same condition. Harry commandeers Hank's phone and surfs the internet for Twinkies, but stumbles across the wrong website. He stares through his brother's eyes at the salty display of floppy noodly fun time and enjoys it. Which one of the twins now needs redemption for their sinful lusty ways? Take a similar example. Prince and Love Zalte were conjoined twins joined at the stomach. Unbeknownst to most, your enteric nervous system of your digestive tract is actually referred to as your second brain.
90% or more of the body's serotonin actually lies in the gut, not in your head. And about half of the body's dopamine lies in the gut. And this is actually now the subject of studies trying to link what's happening in the gut with what's happening in our head.
Now, it's not conscious, but this brain in your gut communicates with, but also independent from your brain. It's affected by diet and can influence your mood and mental health. If Prince gorges on carb-heavy food, making his twin feel lethargic, is his brother's soul guilty of being a lazy, slothful sluggard? Or if Prince is straight edge, but his brother Love is a drug addict, do the mind-altering chemicals ingested by Love affect the soul of his twin? While these cases alone throw a wrench in the soul hypothesis, they are rare and extreme cases. Surely you have only one independent soul, right? If only it was that simple. In an attempt to treat seizures in the 1960s, doctors would sometimes sever a patient's corpus callosum, the region of your brain that allows your left and right hemispheres to communicate with each other. After surgery, everything seemed normal with these patients at first, until the left and right brains began disagreeing with each other. See, the left half of your brain controls your right arm, and your brain's right hemisphere controls your left arm. When out grocery shopping, the two brain halves would disagree over what should and shouldn't go into the cart. Split-brain patients getting dressed in the morning would grab one outfit with one hand, only to find their other disagreeing and swatting it down. In one case, the left arm of a split-brain patient grabbed and violently shook his wife, to the complete horror of the other hemisphere, which grabbed and fought off his other hand in defense of his wife. Intrigued, scientists devised experiments and found that only one hemisphere was responsible for verbal communication, but the other could communicate by drawing.
The anatomy of the human visual system allows so that when a person fixates on a central point, what one sees to the left of that point is projected to the right hemisphere, and what one sees to the right of that point is projected into the left hemisphere.
Now, when a word or a picture falls to the left of a fixation point, that information goes to his disconnected right half brain. And as we can see here, Joe is unable to name it. Joe is able to draw the picture with his left hand, the left hand getting its major control from the right half brain. What'd you draw?
Okay.
What'd you see?
Wheel on one side. I don't know where I saw another.
What'd you draw that for?
I don't know.
So even though he can't name it, his left hand is able to draw out the picture of the stimulus of the picture or word that we presented to his right half brain.
When flashing different words to the different hemispheres, the left brain would visually process the image in its field of view and blurt out one word, but the right brain would disagree with it and draw a picture of what it saw. Scientists found that the two hemispheres had different personalities and different preferences, like favorite colors. They even specialized in different tasks. One hemisphere able to solve spatial problems would try to help/fight with the other when working on a task that required spatial reasoning.
Well, we're now seeing that the left hand can perform the problem and that the right hand cannot. Now the question becomes, what happens when you allow both hands together to try to solve the problem? And what we find out is that they fight over each other. One hand knows how to do it, and one hand does not, and so they more or less squabble. And the reason for this is that the hemispheres are disconnected. Now, the right hemisphere controls the left hand, and the left hemisphere controls the right hand. And these are almost mutually independent systems. It was as if two people were fighting over performing this task. One knew how and one didn't, and one would fight for dominance of the situation.
And all of this isn't just in split brain patients. We all have two independent personalities and identities with two separate input and output sources existing in all of our brains, albeit usually in complete synchrony and harmony, giving the illusion of oneself. Does this mean that we have two souls, or one soul with two independent halves? And at death, are the two personalities/identities of split brain patients merged back to one in an angelic post-mortem soul reunification procedure? What happens when one hemisphere is a theist and the other an atheist? That's not a hypothetical. It actually happened.
Now comes the big question. What if you ask, do you believe in God? So I said, do you believe in God? And the right hemisphere went straight to yes. Asked the same question to the left hemisphere, yes, no, I don't know. It went to no. So here's a human being whose right hemisphere is an atheist, and left hemisphere, on the other hand, believes in God. And this finding should have sent a tsunami through the theological community, but barely produced a ripple, because it raises all kinds of profound theological questions.
Now, a completely separate phenomenon from split brain patients is dissociative identity disorder, formerly multiple personality disorder, in which one person embodies multiple identities with different beliefs, hopes, desires, and personalities. How many souls does that person have? And can the religious efforts of one identity save all of them, even if the others all follow different religions? Finally, how do souls form? If ensoulment in the human body occurs at conception, what happens to that soul when the zygote splits and develops into two embryos? Is the soul divided and each twin gets half, or multiplied into two? And what about when one zygote cannibalizes its twin in utero? This can and does occur in some intersex cases and can result in one person having the genitals of both sexes. In the animal kingdom, this is called a chimera. Do these people possess two souls in one body, or one super soul? Just how badass would that be?
Bask in my power, ye mighty, and despair, for I am Thomas Westbrook, eater of souls.
When someone dies, it seems like something left them, like a puppet master dropping the strings. But intuition is often wrong. Just because something feels intuitively right doesn't mean it is. And whether it's split brain patients, conjoined twins, dissociative identity disorder, or the idea of ensoulment in the womb, those positing the notion of a soul have some hard questions to answer. And even if you're able to answer all of them consistently, answers lacking evidence are nothing more than blind speculation. Don't forget to check out the other part of this video on the existence of souls, where I ask even more hard questions that hopefully are new fuel for thought. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to support more videos like it, you can make a one-time donation on PayPal, the link to that is below, or a per video pledge on patreon.com/holykoolaid of any dollar amount. Most people pledge a few bucks a video. That's the equivalent to a cup of coffee or two a month. Patreon is kind of like the internet's tip jar. Your support allows me to make more videos like this one full time. So if you haven't become a patron yet, please consider becoming one, and in exchange, you'll get certain perks depending on your pledge level. And if you already are one, thank you so much for your ongoing support. You freaking rock. And as always, dare to be curious, but don't drink the Kool-Aid.